Landon Gilfillan here with Pepper and Pine Garden Design. If you're new here, welcome. Welcome to my channel. We are in the midst of trying to get our gardens going. We have pretty much most of this planted out right now with cool season crops, cabbages, onions, garlic, mustards, some chard, some kale. I'm going to be putting more of that out here in the next couple weeks. And beets and radishes and carrots. I'm trying to think of spinach, arugula. That's what we've got out here right now. We're just kind of doing the finishing touches on this garden. We've been laying our pathways down with wood chips. We've been putting cardboard down in some areas where we've been having some weed issues. And then behind me here, we just opened up this whole space behind me here. It used to be the chicken yard. And we're going to be using this, at least at this point anyway, for corn, sunflowers, and pumpkins. So today I'm going to be out here planting my last row of potatoes, some purple Vikings and a blue Adirondack potato. I'm really excited about those. So I'm going to have purple and blue potatoes going on right here in this row. So I'm going to be prepping that. And we are just trying to make sure everything is ready to go for when we start moving out our warm season plants here in the next, probably next two and a half weeks. We'll see what the weather does. It's supposed to be around May 5th this year, last frost date for this part of Southwest Michigan. So we're hoping that holds true. Unfortunately, right here where I'm laying all these potatoes, I've got these huge sunflower stalks left from last year. So they are enormous. These were the mammoth sunflowers that I grew, and they have these just huge stalks that we probably should have pulled out last year. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Which is actually, it's kind of actually prepping the soil a little bit for me for putting these potatoes down. But I'm going to have to spend about 10 or 15 minutes here getting all of these stalks pulled out of the ground before I can put these potatoes in. So I'm going to have to take care of that. Then I'm going to get the potatoes in, lay the manure down, lay the wood chips down. Hopefully I can get all that done today. Then we'll have a cold night tonight. And tomorrow we'll be back out here probably putting in our leek and onion starts and strawberries that we have here and asparagus. So I guess I better get after it. Okay, so I've got my manure, composted cow manure. Doesn't that look awesome? Yeah, this stuff's like, it doesn't even smell like manure because it's so composted. Now there are some like probably fresher pieces in here, but those will break down really easily with all this other and the wood chips. And then I've got my blue Adirondack potatoes. See that color? Isn't that beautiful? And I have chitted these, so I cut them and I let them cure. I'll set them down just like that, and this will start growing. So I have those. And then these are my blue Viking, purple Viking potatoes. That are supposedly like a Yukon Gold potato, and I'll show you in a second. They actually have marbled skin, like a reddish purple color, really pretty, but they apparently are better than a Yukon Gold. So I decided to give these a try. They had a really high rating. So you can kind of see they're kind of a marbled skin with these sort of pinkish purple sprouts. So we're going to do those as well and see how they do. So I'm going to start laying them down the row, getting them spaced out and in the ground, and then I'm going to come back after I've spaced them out and just cover this with the compost and then wood chips, and we'll call it a day for that row. And then on the other side of it, I'm not sure what I'll do yet. Okay, I actually had a change of plans. This is what I do. Right in the middle of doing something, I'll realize something and switch up. So originally I was gonna take the potatoes all the way down the row in like a single row, and then I thought that is not ideal. Like potatoes do better when they're at least in a double row. So I have 17 blue Adirondack potatoes, and then about, I don't know, 10 inches over, I have the purple Viking potatoes. So I've got a double row here. I'm also recording this for posterity so I can remember. I can come back to my video and remember what I did. But so just basically half this garden row right here will be potatoes. And then over there, I'm thinking about doing my asparagus. I have to think this over again. Asparagus actually do really well with tomatoes. They help repel some sort of pest. I can't remember what it is, but anyway, but they get so really tall and frilly. And I can see that getting out of control. So I'm not convinced I want to do my asparagus and tomatoes together. However, if I do them here, they'll provide kind of a nice border between these two gardens, between like the sunflower corn garden and then my cool season garden. So I'm considering that. I don't know, let me know what you think. For right now, I have the potatoes here. I'm gonna cover them up, put the compost on them, put the wood chips on them, and then I'm gonna go inside and ponder where I'm gonna put this asparagus and my strawberries. I'm kind of thinking I'm actually gonna do my strawberries with my peas. So I've got peas planted all along here and all along over there, and I might do the strawberries at the base of them, but I also have to keep in mind that strawberries spread. So do I want them spreading out of the garden where things can eat them, or this way in the garden? That's kind of the other thing I have to consider. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to give them their own devoted beds somewhere on the property, which I have lots of space, but you know, that's another fence because animals will eat them. Decisions. Okay, so we got all the potatoes in the ground, did a double row, and then that leaves me that whole row back there open for something. And I am considering asparagus. I have to think about it. I know their roots spread somewhat, but if I leave enough space there, that might be the perfect place to let the asparagus grow. We'll think about it. Now I'm kind of staring at the rest of my garden. I'm seeing where I have a lot of open spaces where I lost plants during the big freeze. So I lost like all my broccoli and cauliflower. So all those spots are open now, interplanted with some garlic and onions along the way. So I'll be filling some of that in with cauliflower, the next batch of cauliflower that I have, and kale and chard that I'm growing inside, leeks that I'm growing inside, onions that I'm growing inside, calendula, a few herbs that I'm going to continue to fill out this cool season bed with. Down here, all my interplanted carrots and radishes are coming in, along with lettuces. So carrots, radish, and lettuce, that's like a great growing trio. They do really well. They improve the flavor of each other. And I read this really cool blog. I don't even remember where I found it. This lady figured out how to interplant radishes and carrots. So she laid the carrot seeds down, covered them up, and then put the radish seeds on top of that, and has had a ton of success with it. And I was trying to figure out how to interplant those two. So I thought, ooh, that's what I'm gonna do. So let me show you real quick. I just covered, this bed is like way lower than the two next to it because we've been covering these with cardboard and layering on top of them, and we didn't do that here, which I'm sort of regretting because I've got some grasses coming in. So this might be hard to see, but I've got the radishes coming in, and right underneath them, which you cannot see by the camera, the carrot seeds are starting to fill in underneath. So I've got radishes and carrots, and then lettuces, and then radish and carrots and lettuce. More radish and carrots and lettuce. And I've got different kinds of romaine and buttercrunch and little Jim baby lettuces planted all through here, along with the radish and carrot mix. So I'll be really interested to see how this does. I am still going to be bringing out my little plugs of my multi-sown radishes and beets from inside, but I do want to see how that compares to the ones that I planted in ground here. This garden really is coming together nicely. This is what we did today. That looks really nice. And then we'll just continue to go that way with the warm loving plants here in the next few weeks. All of my peas, my snow peas, and then my, I guess you call them soup peas or English peas, are coming in along this fence line here. They're all starting to come in right there. You can see the green popping through. So that's going to be filling in soon, filling these trellises here over, whoop, and the one here above me. And I have more planted all along here and here. I've got a weed issue going on here, which is why I've got this tarp doubled up and this blanket laid down until I get some more cardboard. I'm just laying these on here to kind of help keep the weeds at bay because they're really trying to grow through the garden here, and that's going to affect any plants I have in here. So I'm still trying to smother those out imperfectly at the moment, but there are peas coming up all along this fence line here. The last thing I'll show you is we've been slowly working on this bed here, which is where all my warm, loving, hot season plants will go. We've been covering this whole area with tarps over the fall and winter and slowly filling in wood chips underneath them. We also filled in with animal manure over the winter as well, just for a layer of nutrients, and compost, and then the wood chips on top. And so I just now moved this tarp, which was here, moved it over this way because there are some weeds that are really trying to pull through in this area, and they just need one last good push to kill them out. So I just flipped it over, and hopefully this will start smothering out the last of the weeds here, and then all of this will be ready for all of our tomatoes and peppers and squash and eggplant and all the warm loving things that we're growing inside. So I'm excited to see how this garden turns out this year. So that's really it. This was sort of a random video, but it's just like, you know, there's all the remaining things that we've got to get done to get the garden up and running for the season. And like I said, I pretty much have this filled out, other than a couple holes that I just mentioned where I'll be filling in the last remaining, I guess I would say, like frost sensitive plants that are going to be filling out over here. And then of course here behind me. So we're just kind of tying in all the loose ends, and I'm just really excited to see what happens here in the next couple weeks as we really just finish laying this out and getting the plants in the ground, and then just watching it grow. You know, you go from a blank slate like this to it being just completely full of life and plants and beauty. It's amazing what can happen in a few months' time. So just stick with me. Watch the updates as we continue to grow the 2023 garden here. It is really starting to take off despite the setbacks that we've had. Life is happening, so it's really exciting. I hope you'll join me in the journey. As always, I'm Landon Gilfillan with Pepper and Pine Garden Design. Please subscribe below. It's been really fun to start communicating with some of you and watching this channel grow. So we'll see you in the next video.